Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we are looking at Frosthaven from Cephalofair Games, the follow-up to the insanely successful Gloomhaven. So first of all, I want to say a massive thanks to Cephalofair Games for sending us a review copy to have a look at and unbox on the site. What we're going to do is a little bit different to other unboxings that we've done, because this box is filled with many secrets and cool stuff that can be unlocked over the course of the campaign. So we'll open it up and have a look at the initial kind of, I guess, what you see when you open up the box, and then what we'll do is we'll cut to the contents kind of sorted and any kind of secret stuff hidden away, because what I don't want to do is spoil any of the stuff that's on stickers or secret things that are in this box that in the video you might spoil it for yourself when you're playing the game. So what I'll do is I'll get all the components all set up and ready and show you kind of how the game goes together, how you play it. We'll have a look at some of the rules. What we're going to do as well is have a look at some of the miniatures as well. I aim to get the miniatures painted up to play the game. And then this is going to be somewhat of a, I guess, a living review. Starting with this initial kind of unboxing and first look and checking out of the rules. Over on spruesandbrews.com we are going to be playing through a Frosthaven campaign. If you've played Gloomhaven before, you know these things can go on for a long time, and as we'll see when we get to some of the cool stuff in Frosthaven, a lot of this stuff will be branching. So our playthrough of Frosthaven will in all likelihood be different to your playthrough of Frosthaven. So there's going to be a mixture of videos for that. We're also going to have some write-ups as well. I'm really keen to have kind of a narrative kind of thread following our kind of adventures through the game. So that is something to look forward to, and we'll be getting those videos out. The posts out fairly regularly, and then kind of we'll have some the more cinematic elements to those videos too, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, in this initial video we'll be looking at the game itself. Now, when this turned up on the doorstep, I wasn't quite expecting how big this box was going to be. I've had to get the really tall tripod for this, because if we just tip this over, and it is a big heavy box, you can see it is massive. There's my hand for comparison. Yeah, big old game. If we just tip this over so we can see the back of the box too, there is a lot of stuff within this massive box. Cephalofair are probably best known for Gloomhaven. Again, similar kind of idea, when it was crazy popular on Kickstarter and has gone through numerous different printings of the game now. And essentially it's I guess a dungeon crawler with RPG and legacy elements. So your characters will level up, they'll get new skills and abilities. And in Frosthaven, they kind of expand that out even more by having kind of a world map that evolves as you play through the game. There'll be different things that change depending on the seasons. Yeah, lots and lots of cool stuff on here. As you can see, there's a load of stuff within the box as well. So there's a scenario book with 138 scenarios, and in addition to that there's a separate book that kind of works as the, I guess, keeping the spoilers secret by having a different volume. Sometimes there might be some branching choices and decisions as well. I'll send you to a different segment of that book. 17 playable classes. Not all of them are unlocked at the start of the game, so you'll start off with a few of them, and then basically depending on what you do during the campaign, you unlock more of them, and they're all in sealed boxes in here. For each of the playable classes there are miniatures as well. So obviously here on Sprues and Brews we like painting up miniatures, so we will be doing that. We'll be getting the party painted up so we can tell some stories with them. There's a lot of cardboard in this box, from kind of tiles that make up the dungeons to various kind of standees that represent the monsters. At this time there's no miniatures for the monsters in the box, but I suspect that would be an awful lot of plastic needed. So they're all cardboard standees, and there's cool little kind of sleeves that the stat cards go into that will kind of show their stats, and because of the different facings on the cards can represent the different abilities they have at different levels. So again, we'll see all that as we dig into it. Lots of equipment cards and all sorts of cool stuff. So yeah, I think what we'll do is tip this back over again without breaking my back, and then yeah, have a look inside it. So like I say, there's going to be a little bit of a different unboxing compared to what we'd normally do on the channel, because like I said, there's a lot of secret stuff in here that we don't want to spoil. And unfortunately, if I just went through all the components, there's probably stuff that I know I've certainly seen while I've been having a bit of a preliminary look through, that if I showed on the video, it'd spoil your gameplay experience, and I don't want to do that. So we see, we have got a big box absolutely filled to the brim with stuff. Now, what I'm going to do is, once we've kind of gone through these initial few kind of paper elements, I'm going to get all this stuff out of the box, punch out all the tokens, get all the cards sorted, and sort it into these trays. What's really handy in this like initial Welcome to Frosthaven book, at the end it has a bit of a breakdown of how the stuff goes back into the box once you've kind of prepped it all, and that'll be kind of, once we've looked at these initial few bits, we'll jump back to there, because I think that way I can make sure that any kind of hidden stuff stays hidden and it doesn't ruin the experience for you. And then what we'll do, of course, is have a look at how the game plays, look at some of the mechanics, we'll get some scenarios set up to show you kind of how it works, and yeah, we should have some fun. So, first things first, when you open it up, you get this Welcome to Frosthaven kind of pamphlet here, which talks through all the stuff. Now, puzzle book, scenario book, section book, rule book, and then sticker sheets, campaign sheets and map board are all under here. Now it does call out that on the puzzle book there's like a kind of a seal that fixes this shut, and the sticker sheets are secret stuff that you'll unlock during the game, so you really don't want to have a too close look at those kind of going into this fresh, if you want to keep some of the legacy stuff that unlocks during this a surprise. So that's something to bear in mind. What's really handy is that there's a number of different trays and stuff. They can be used to hold all the components, and they're like double leveled. So if you take this open, pop this out, you can see there's a number of different trays that can be used to store all the parts. So really the first job to do, kind of once we've got all this out of the box, will be to kind of punch out all the cardboard and get it into here. This little pamphlet will go through all the bits and where it all lives and how that sets up. So obviously this isn't going to be like a quick 5 minutes to get it all sorted. You're probably talking quite a bit of time to get all the tiles ready, get all the components ready. There's little baggies for all the parts as well, and like I say, these plastic trays have got homes for where everything goes, including all the kind of overlays for the map and stuff as well. So like I say, rather than just doing we go through all those sheets of card one by one, which would probably be a bit of a dull video, we'll jump back to kind of this completed and set up, so I can show you kind of what it would look like when you've opened it and ready to go for the game. Likewise, at the bottom of the box there's some trays where all the cards and stuff live, and where all the sealed tuck boxes live as well. So apologies if you do want to see each and every component. I've just watched a few unboxings myself, and sometimes you do see a couple of things that you maybe didn't want to see to play through it, play through it yourself without being, you know, spoiled, I guess, of what's inside here. So we'll see kind of this state. What's really cool, and it's a little bit daunting at first, is this breakdown of all the components. So obviously it's a big game with a lot of parts, very, very heavy, lots of cards and stuff in there. So you've got this kind of like exploded diagram showing you where everything lives and where everything needs to go. So we'll come back shortly to see kind of what it looks like when this is all put together. Before we do that though, I just want to have a quick flick through the rulebook itself. So it is obviously very similar to Gloomhaven. If you've played that before, the main mechanic really is you've got a deck of cards, you pick two, and you'll have kind of two parts on each card, a top and a bottom, and essentially when you're doing something, you'll activate the top of one card and the bottom of the other card. So if you've played Gloomhaven, that'll all be very familiar. If you've not played it before, the game kind of kicks off with an intro scenario that kind of eases you in and teaches you all the mechanics. What I would say though is either watch, Cephalofair have got some videos on how to play, and obviously it's quite a thick chunky rule book as well, so if you're maybe the person like leading this and you've got a group of friends coming round, have a good read through the instructions first and just make sure you're aware of how to play them. You start off with 6 characters, and in the book as well, I believe, yep, it shows the complexity of the characters too. So again, if you've played other games like this before, you might be more comfortable jumping into something a bit more complex like the Blink Blade. But if you're new to this kind of game, maybe start off with a Banner Spear, for example. Gives you a nice kind of like, I guess, difficulty level for those initial characters going in. And then yeah, basically the instructions will go through how the game works. There's a lot in here, so we're not going to go through it all yet. We'll do that once we've kind of opened up the box, and we'll talk through kind of how the game plays. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here, so we'll be back in 2 seconds with all this hopefully sorted into its correct areas within the box. And I've now punched all the card components and managed to just about get everything fit back in the box. So I just want to have a quick show of how this all packs away, because it does fit, and the instructions do give some really handy hints and tips on how to fit it back all in the box before you finish. So at the top of the box, all your little baggies with monsters and their cards go. So yeah, there's a lot of these. It takes a long time to punch them all out, but it's worth it. What's really cool is that little baggies are provided enough to put all these in, which does make your life a lot easier. So all these will move out of the way. These are all the various monsters that you can fight during the encounters. And then underneath this we have all the individual tile components. So these then just stack on top. And again, if we just move those to one side, fit nicely on top of that. Underneath that, you've got your campaign board. So again, we won't have too much of a look into that because there are spoilers here, but essentially these are how you progress through the campaign. So they sit on top of them. Underneath them, we've got some more tile components. So they fit there, and they fit on the side here as well, just out of the way. Underneath that, we've got some secret stuff. So we've got a bit of a sealed book that you use during the campaign, your kind of alchemy thing for making potions, all of your paper components. And again, I'm just going to quickly flick through those so there's no spoilers, and all the stickers too. They all conceal underneath there. Underneath that, the main game board goes. Underneath that, the scenario box. And then underneath that, if we get these out, all of the cards and parts and all of the kind of status tokens and stuff fit in these trays underneath here. So it's a really nicely laid out box. It looks daunting and a little bit intimidating when you're putting it all together, but it does all fit back in, so don't worry at all. You are going to get this back in the box afterwards. So yeah, that is a look at Frosthaven. We're going to be doing our full review of it soon. We want to play through a few games before that goes up, but just wanted to kind of show the unboxing and the kind of box storage situation for this. It is a big game with lots and lots of parts. I would put aside a couple of hours to punch out all the components and get everything kind of ready for playing. Certainly don't try and do it just before you play it, because you are going to want to sort all this stuff beforehand. In the long run, it's going to save you a load of time once it's all sorted away. So yeah, stay tuned to the channel. We'll be doing a full review and playthrough. We're also going to have a bit of a narrative kind of retelling of our adventures in Frosthaven 2 on the website. So there's a bit of a narrative story showing our branching decisions, because our game may be different than your game of Frosthaven. So yeah, it's kind of call it a living review, I guess. So yeah, until next time, have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.